So, this is the first episode, Craig.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of surreal, kind of long
Yeah,
time.
no, that's the right word for it. That's
Yeah,
the right word for
yeah. Like
it.
I honestly didn't know exactly how it would even look, and I know earlier today you were saying about there's going to be so many distractions or so many holdups, and like
Yeah,
as we thought everything was going to go smooth after the fact of okay, we'll start the call at 8:40. It's
yep.
9:55 and starting to figure it out. So
Hey, whatever.
yeah, life goes on. We're here. So
That's it. That's it.
all right. So you want to introduce yourself? You wanna bring yourself to?
Yeah, no, I can definitely introduce myself. My name is Craig Kimmel. I'm currently living in Melbourne, Florida, but I'm from Lehighton, Pennsylvania, born near Philly. But yeah, I've been involved in one way or another with just all things God for a while since I was about 21 when everything started really clicking.
Hmm.
Grew up grew up in a church, but the church was not really like, I don't know, it just wasn't super healthy. That's what I found out later, and it was more just a thing to do, like a box to check,
Hmm.
and it was more that than anything else. But when I really got connected at a church that really believed the Bible, it totally like unlocked everything and opened up so many different doors for me.
Yeah.
So I just want to do this because I want to share my faith to everybody else, and also just prove like you might be a Christian, but that doesn't mean you got everything together.
Yeah, for sure. So
Me.
I know you already touched base a little bit within your answer of who you are, but why on your side of things, why are you wanting to start this?
So my number one goal, like I said, is just to share. But really, I think there's so many ways that I've tried to do something else other than the, like what the Bible says. I've tried to do it every other way, and it always ends up me being lost or found back again, but just in a different position than I could have been if I would have just done things the right way.
Mm,
If I would have just been able to listen to the Holy Spirit or my conscience or both, and just do things the right way, I'd be in a much better position every time. I found that when I lean on my own understanding for things, I'm my worst enemy. So yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I feel that. So, now that you introduce yourself, you introduce your reason why. I'll introduce myself. So,
Yeah.
my name's Austin Bice. Currently located in Pittsburgh. Sorry, currently located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But I live over in Northeast Pennsylvania, similar area to where you grew up in, Lehighton. I'm about a town over in Summit Hill, and um, yeah, uh, it's been a it's been a long journey, and it's honestly just starting, really, for me within everything. Um, Life's been kind of going smoothly. Everything's been up and down and left and right, and you know,
Which is normal.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, but I'm more than excited to kind of share what will be the start of my walk within all of this, but also in the capacity of my point of view and my stances on everything that you have to bring. Because I feel, like we've already mentioned before, a lot of what this comes down to is what, like the name, twofold, right? your
Yep.
your point of view versus my point of view. Somebody who's been in it for almost the better part of my life. I'm only 25, so
Right.
if you've been doing it since 21, you're 13 years in the making, if not longer. No, you're 39.
Yeah.
18 years.
18 years in the making. I got a whole human worth of time, whole adult human.
Yeah, so you have a bunch of time, and I'm honestly what I thought I knew turns out to be just me not sure. So I'm more than excited
Well,
to.
and let me just stop you there for a second because this is the really funny thing about this walk. The closer you get to God, the more you realize you don't know anything.
I guess that's also
100%, man. I'm telling you.
yeah, that's an interesting viewpoint on that, because it makes it'll probably make a lot more people question that right off the gate than it will make people, jump in for it.
Yeah.
So it definitely is uneasy to even think about that kind of stuff. You know,
What do
like
you mean?
when when someone like me comes into the picture of their walk with faith or their religion, hearing something like that is almost, um, it's like the big thing. It's like, how does that make sense? Like, where do I fit
Oh,
in?
yeah. Okay. I see. I see.
Yeah, it's overwhelming almost, but also at the same time, almost what seems to be contradicting, but starts to make sense.
Right. Well,
Um,
there's intrigue there too, because if I've been doing it for 18 years and I still feel like I don't know anything,
yeah,
there's definitely a little bit of intrigue there. Like, interesting,
yeah,
you
for
know?
sure. And I think that's part of what I'm most excited about. The
Yeah.
aspect of learning, but also continuing that learning throughout the whole process.
Right.
Um, so it's kind of,
Well, what's your why? What's your why on why we're doing this? Like, what's
oh
your
yeah, yeah,
why?
yeah. I guess we'll get back to that one. I almost forgot. So, well, I'll just be blunt. When I first started any kind of social media, my instinct goal was like, let's get famous.
Mm,
I think that's a lot of people's goals. They start with something
sure.
that's a pretty much dead end, constant revolving cycle of what kind of post can I make today? What kind of thing can I make today? And I think after doing so many social media pages, so many different attempts in uh, public eye, um, public eye grabbing social media pages, it becomes a thing of it's not fulfilling, and you realize it's kind of just the same thing everybody else is doing.
Mm,
So, like, I'm still gonna be doing the car page. I,
sure.
I'm never gonna stop that because that's like a passion project of mine of like cars in general and just building new ones.
That makes sense.
But within this, it comes down to the point of I'm just here to learn at this point. I want to grow, and I mean, I'm comfortable with you. I've made that very clear.
Well,
uh,
we should probably explain what our relationship is too, because that's an important piece as well.
yeah, let me finish my why, and then we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So I just want to learn. I want to grow. I want to find my reason. I think I have a good understanding, but as you say, the more you go, the more you don't know. So I want to define define myself and refine myself. You know.
Mm,
So
very good word.
yeah, trying to get in that
I
mind
like
state.
it. I like it.
So there's a lot that comes with it, and it's gonna be daunting at times, and it's gonna be frustrating and overwhelming and sometimes underwhelming. But my goal, like I said, is just to learn and share my point of view within my walk with everybody else.
Sure.
That's my ideal situation within coming from
Okay.
this. So yeah, so let's dive into our relationship, how we even started.
Yep.
So you could go first. You could kind of
I can
give,
okay.
yeah,
I can give my piece first. Yeah.
yeah.
So well, my wife Becky has two sisters. She's the oldest of the three. And Becky's baby sister Emily had been single for a while. And and not like as a bad thing, that's not what I mean,
Mhm.
but she just was not in the stage of life where she really wanted to be in a relationship or anything like that.
Yep.
And it was basically shortly after we moved, right? Was
It,
when you guys met each other.
yeah, it was probably like a few months after because they were talking about you just getting out there.
Right. So okay, it was 21, right? Like when you started dating.
22. 22 is when we
Okay, so it
started
was
dating.
like spring of 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, that makes sense. So anyway, I hear that Becky's baby sister has this boyfriend that she met from from a wedding that she went to, where he was also in the wedding party. And I mean, I didn't go full on like I need to investigate you kind of place. That's not where I went, but
Mm.
I wanted to meet you right away. So I mean, the first time that I heard about you, I was like, can I get his phone number? And
Yeah.
like realistically, we talked on the phone for hours the
Mm.
very first time we talked.
Yep. It
I
was
really think we
wow.
talked for 2 hours plus the first time, and then more like five the second time.
Yeah. No, we did.
Because at that time I was driving 2.5 hours each way to and from work.
Hmm.
So, I had a lot of time behind the windshield. So it was one of those things where I'm like, why not kill two birds with one stone and
Yeah.
just get to meet this guy, figure out, what he's all about. So we talked on the phone for probably almost a year before I actually met you, because I
Yeah.
think we met the Christmas, like your guys' first Christmas together
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
when we met. So it was yeah. It was Christmas of 2022. That was when we actually met officially. And
Yeah.
then I saw how jacked you were and I got jealous, and we found out the reason why. You have special genetics, but
We'll dive into that later.
yeah, that's a total different topic.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit of my background with you.
Yeah. So for mine, as he said, met his sister-in-law at a wedding, and from there, her and I kind of just hit it off. We kind of were kind of playing it behind ears for a while till she got comfortable with presenting it to the family, and then once she finally did, the first people that I talked to was obviously her parents, and then
Right.
it was you before Becky, which was I found pretty funny because Becky was on the phone with Emily, and that's how her and I briefly met. I'm 98% positive that's how it was. But in private conversation, you and I were the first person to talk behind any, closed doors.
Right.
So you and I talked, like you said, for 2.5 hours the first time, or plus. I mean, I was in between working and I was driving back and forth across state too, so I'm pretty sure
Right.
I was driving across state to come back to this area. Well, go back to that area. Um, and we talked a bunch of times, like within the first few months. Then we kind of like fizzled out for a little bit, but we still talked for a
It
year.
was
But
almost like we hit a wall. Like it
yeah,
was almost like we hit a wall. We had talked about everything we needed to talk about, and we both kind of like took a little bit of a step back.
yeah, it was, and at that point, it wasn't like between you and I, it wasn't like, oh, he's not going to last long. It was more along the lines of, what are we even going to talk about? Like, we've talked
Right.
with what everything we thought we knew. Um, and then we finally got more into deeper conversations and, more faith-based conversations. Becky, started asking me a lot of questions within it, and I thought I
Mhm.
had a good representation of what I knew, which didn't turn out to be true. It's just that's how it goes. That's how the cookie crumbles
Yeah, that's
sometimes.
okay. That's okay.
So, going through that, I was like, oh, okay, there's good points that I'm taking from you. And like, once that started evolving, I'm like, you just un unknowingly amounts of wealth, not wealth, knowledge that you have with like mind wealth. There we go.
Wisdom. We can
Wisdom.
call it wisdom.
That's the word. I, you know,
I know what you meant. It's all good.
yeah. So, between between you and I, we talked for a while. And then I finally started my own company and I had all the free time to talk in the world. Um, and we talked for, I don't even know, man. It was like 3 to 5 months straight, almost every day, just about.
Pretty much.
And
Yeah, I bet we have close to like 6,000 hours on the phone, like
pro
total.
probably.
Like actually, I think that's a very safe estimate.
No, I agree because it's like when we talked, especially for those 5 months in continuity, it wasn't like a 3 hour conversation every day. It was like a 9 hour conversation. Like it was
It's
you were leaving for work.
several whole day conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember we got to a point where it's just like we're on the phone all day. We already know what's going on. It's not like you need to be telling me everything all points of time. But we would just talk about everything. Um, so I got acquainted with you pretty quickly and pretty easily. So yeah, so that was my standpoint on meeting you and getting to know you and
Right.
finding that friendship slash relationship with you. So
Yep.
yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of
it's always been fun to build that because we have so much in common, even though we're so different.
oh yeah. Yeah, and I think the thing that's crazy about the common traits is that we still find those today.
Sure.
I think what not yesterday, or last week, we were like talking about something, and it's like, oh, same. We're like the exact same person. We already knew that, but like, there's even more. Um, but the thing that I find even cooler is like, in separate of like our similar traits, our like similar aspirations of what we want to do, similar like mindsets. It's like we also just have like you're more of like a brother to me than I've ever had, and it's cool to me because even the age difference doesn't really matter. Like we're
Right.
14 years apart, and it doesn't matter. Like we're closer than any of my other friends I think I've ever had are. So
I definitely feel that way too. And I didn't give this in my background, but I'm an only child. So like I latch on to people a little bit differently than some other people do, but that's
yeah,
just because it was always just me by myself. So
that's true. And him speaking about him being an only child, I'm not an only child. I grew up with well, I grew up with one sibling, and then my mom had another one about 6 years ago. And then
yep.
just a few months ago, which will be a whole topic for another different story, I found out I have three more siblings I never knew I had. So that was a
Yep.
surreal moment for me. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of conversation, a lot of topics that will be a little bit uncomfortable for some people, but also at the same time a little bit eye-opening and make you realize the different aspects that Craig might have versus I might have, and it'll just if you're in a different stage of your life, if you're between Craig and I, if you're where I'm at, if you're where Craig's at, you'll be able to see both perspectives on that same situation, and it might be able to
Right.
take you back to where you started, or it might be able to push you further from where you're at now. So,
Yeah, I mean, my goal with what I share would be to help allow people to use the mistakes that I made to not make the same mistakes for them. You
hmm
know, that would be what my goal would be with that.
yeah, and within that, mistakes that anybody makes aren't a setback per se, or they're not inherently a mistake. It's more
Nope.
along the lines of you're not on the right path, and getting to where you need to be is a little bit easier than what you probably think it is. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, 100%. And I don't think there's any mistake that doesn't have something to learn from it. Do you know what I mean? Like
hmm
there's always something you could take from it. Anything that you could think is a failure doesn't mean that you failed. It just means what you were attempting to do didn't work out the way you thought it would. But it doesn't mean you failed at anything. And if you've learned anything, there's value in that as well.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And I think that's like the best way to put it. It's not just like powerful to fail, and it's not just a learning experience to fail, but it's a character building experience as well. Like, and the reason why I differ those from each other is because you can learn from a situation, but your attitude might not change towards it.
Mhm.
So kind of where I'm going with that is like if you fail and you still have the same sour attitude and you go into the next situation, you're gonna more than likely do the same steps, even though you
That's
learned.
good stuff, dude.
Yeah. So as long as you are able to redefine your attitude within the situations you're trying to do moving forward, you're probably better off than most people in the today's current generation.
Yeah, and another aspect to it too, because from a spiritual standpoint, I think there's a superpower with failing.
hmm
Like there's a leveling up that happens in the spirit that's way quicker than you could get from reading a book or doing something else when you fail because it hurts you. It feels bad, you
hmm
know. So it's one of those things where it's a quicker way to upgrade and to get further up in your ranking.
Yeah, and that's something that speaking of today, I know I tell you I'd mentioned the situation that
Yeah,
happened
yeah,
today with
yeah.
me and my mom. I was talking with my mom, and it's very funny that that comes up because it's the exact same thing. I was
Okay.
talking with her, and her and I actually had a very good 2 hour long conversation for the first
Which
time in
is awesome.
probably 4 years we've had that long of a conversation.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, like it's been a long time. Like normally it's like 5-10 minutes, which nothing wrong with that. But this was
Right.
like the first good one, and you can choose to do two different things within failing. Um, Today, when I was talking with my mom, her initial mechanism when it comes to failing is automatically set up defenses in the
Mm.
aspect of, hey, I know I might fail, so let's set up those defenses prior and expect the worst and not shoot for the
Yep.
best.
Yep.
So that is something that like it came up today, and we had a such a long conversation within that. It was like it was so eye opening to actually talk and conversate with my mom in a
Mm.
manner that way that I honestly didn't know if it would happen, or at least in the near future. That I was really happy that it happened today.
Yeah.
But and it's funny because it matches what we're talking about right now. Like we talked about it, it'll come back in one way or another.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. And that's like that's the thing to always remember too, is because the way you set your expectations, that's going to be what you look for.
mm-hmm,
Like, let me give you an example. This is a real time example for anybody who's watching this, or for you even personally
mm-hmm.
right now. Look around the room and tell me everything blue that you see.
Yeah, 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 yep,
Come on, just do
yep,
it.
yeah. No, I am. I'm trying to. It's very funny. There's not much blue in this room, actually. There's got it.
Okay, so close your eyes.
Okay.
All right, now tell me everything red that you saw.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because this room is very bland in color, but I could not. There are definitely red things in this room, but I couldn't tell you which red thing is here.
Right. And that's a real-time example of what it looks like in your mind when you're only looking for what's bad.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to only look for what's bad, that's all that you're going to see. And here's the funny part too. When you open your eyes back up and then look for red things, well, all of a sudden the brown things look kind of red because
Mm,
like you're trying to fit that into the thing you're looking for, which that's a lie. A brown thing's a brown thing, not a red thing.
yeah.
So like you laser focus your vision onto whatever it is you're looking for. So if you're looking for negativity, you will find it everywhere, in everyone, every relationship that you talk to. 100% of the time, you will find negativity if you're looking for it.
Mm,
That's why it's so powerful to actually want to look for positivity.
yeah.
And that is not a like mainstream thing right now. Positivity is not what sells, even though that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants positivity, actually. Like, that's
Mm,
what they want in their life. That's what they want to cultivate.
mm,
But they're only reading crazy news headlines. They're only seeing, whatever is put in front of them from their algorithm,
mm,
and most of the time it's so much more engaging to be upset. It's so much more engaging to be frustrated.
mm,
So your algorithm finds out what ticks you off and then just shows you that because you engage every time.
yep.
Well, you almost have to like rewrite the way your algorithm works to get it to do the right thing, which
Yep.
is hard.
It's
You
really
almost
hard.
have to like start over.
Yeah, I
That's
think.
what I just did recently.
And I think honestly, hold on one second. Let me pause real quick. I want to just make sure everything's still recording properly. I think it is. Yeah, we're still good. Um, anyway, to continue on that topic, it's I think it's crazy to me on how much um, hold social media companies have over just people in general. Like, if you really look at it, the amount of guys that struggle with like online infidelity or certain things like that,
Sure.
if you look at one picture, your whole feed is blowing up with like
Yep.
recommended, and it's like it's just feeding into the stuff that will pull you farther away. And it's like, why does that make any sense? Like, but you think about their marketing and they want you on there. They don't,
They want your attention.
yeah.
Your attention is what they're after.
Hmm.
That's it.
That's
Doesn't
literally,
matter whether it's positive or negative. They just want your attention.
yeah.
If you're going to be a really, really smart person and only intentionally look for positive stuff, they'll keep on showing you positive stuff. But the
Yeah.
second you see that thing that throws you off the edge and makes you super upset, well, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of that from now on because you engage with that so quick.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, it's so crazy, like how fast it could switch because like we were talking about earlier today, like we were talking about collecting rainwater, and Google's like,
Yep.
I started looking up how to, or is it illegal to collect, and it's like instantly knows exactly what you're looking for, instantly knows
Yeah,
the next
by the
thing.
first couple of words you asked.
Yeah, and it's like there's millions, probably millions of uh, keyboard combinations I could have thrown in, but the next one is collecting rainwater. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just it's one of those things where I, as much as I'm on social media and as much as I know it's bad, I at least try to do the right thing and look at the either positive stuff or just strictly stay on the aspect of cars because that's what my Instagram's focused around.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
um,
for somebody like you that's trying to, grow a page, you want new car content to come through your feed so you can see what's trendy, what's doing
yeah,
well. So that's important for that, but at the same token, that page is directed for just that one thing.
yep.
Your personal page is just a different thing altogether.
Hmm.
And do you even still have any of your personal pages up anymore?
Nope.
I didn't think so. You got off all completely, which is probably, I don't know. I like having a page.
Hmm.
The page that I had for whatever it was, 15 years or whatever, I had to delete it because I was following way too many things that I shouldn't be following anymore. And just needed to start fresh.
Hmm.
So I started a new page, and that one's cultivated really good right now. It's really showing me a lot of positive content, showing me a lot of stuff that I want to see.
Hmm.
So it's good, but it's one of those things where like you have to be intentional about every move you make
Yeah,
because the second you slide off a little bit, well, that's all you're going to see then from now on.
yeah. I have to still
So,
follow you on your Instagram page, by the way.
oh, okay.
I see it pop up and I'm like, I'll talk to him later. I don't actively think about following you, not because I don't want to. It's just it's not my
It's
first
okay.
thought. So, but yeah, no, I mean, and also too within this, we're gonna be starting to within this podcast, we'll be starting to promote that on that page as well and all this other stuff.
Of course.
So, we'll be experimenting. We'll be kind of not I shouldn't say experimenting, but seeing the what people want to see out of this, what people are kind of interested, what
Right.
topics, kind of engage people more. Like, what do you guys like hearing versus what do you guys want to hear, you know?
Well, I mean, the other thing that's a good thing to ask is like, what questions do you have? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's thousands,
Mm-hmm.
thousands of questions you could ask. So if there's anything in particular that you'd like us to go over or that you'd like to hear our opinions about too, because that's an important piece too, that's a good thing to ask. So ask questions.
Yeah, and I think even within that, when people start asking questions, coming from my point of view, as somebody who's just starting their walk, it's like this is probably the most almost, dare I say, unbiased response when it comes to starting like your own walk if it is on that side of the street. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like
Hmm.
I feel like a good analogy is crossing a busy road. But maybe not crossing a busy road, but crossing a I'll just skip it because I had something there. It just I tried too hard and then it went away. My brain
It's
just
okay.
smoked. Anyway, um, yeah, but like on that side of the stream, on that side of the pond or whatever, that is. something that you guys probably could relate to a little bit easier. And for somebody who's farther in their walk, like Craig, if you ask him directly, it also be something that's enlightening to hear from another point of view rather than just from the same POV every week if you go to the same
Sure.
church. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd like to be very clear with the fact that I definitely don't have all the answers. I want to be very clear with that. Like I
Correct.
definitely don't.
Hmm.
But I have the ability to utilize the resources that I have, the people that are around me. And I mean, honestly, the best way to learn is personal study
Hmm.
because the the superpower is just going directly to the Holy Spirit, man. That's the superpower because if you can directly communicate with God,
Yep.
why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah.
You know,
No, I agree.
that's the quickest way.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like you're not gonna have all the answers. I'm not gonna have all the answers, but self-reflection definitely helps a lot.
For sure.
And, you know, we might not have the best, dare I say, we just won't have the best answers in everything, but we'll give you our best opinion within our own situation.
Sure.
And that might help you, and that might make more questions. So,
Well, I mean, that's the beautiful part, really. And I
mhm,
mean, think about it like the 3-year-old that just keeps on asking why for every question.
mhm,
That's really how we're supposed to be as children of God. It's just why.
mhm,
And then, okay, because this is how it's designed. Well, why is it designed that way? And just keep on going and going and going. Like
yeah,
that's the cool part.
with
It's a journey. It's
yeah,
not a destination.
and the thing is too, with those whys, it's just a genuine intent of asking it. People, I feel like when I was first starting out in church, a lot of my whys were just, well, why do you do it this way? Not a, well, if you do it this way, what is your, what are you looking for within it the way you're doing it? And I was more of like a shallow, I see face value. Let me ask you why face value, not, okay, well, if you're doing it this way, why are you doing it this way, and how does it affect you personally to do it that way? So it's almost like two-parters. It's not just always just a one. So, so yeah.
Well, and yeah, the other piece of the matter is there are things that are very clear, concise, and written down in the Bible,
Mm,
and then there's the things that are like, kind of gray area where it's not really directly defined,
mm,
and when it comes to those gray area items, I don't normally have a big opinion on it because at the end of the day, I use the Bible as my resource for my knowledge. And if it's not that important that it's written down in the Bible, then it's probably not that big of a deal for me to worry about.
mm,
And if I just do my own searching, my own praying, my own just searching of myself, even, I'll kind of know where I feel about everything. Because at the end of the day, you're either doing something that's bringing you closer to God or further away. Those are your only two choices. So if you're moving in a direction towards God, you're going to feel the fruit of the Spirit. You're going to feel love, joy, peace, patience, all that good stuff.
mm.
And if you're feeling anxiety, worry, anger, greed, all of a sudden, you're probably not going the right direction,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Um, Speaking of just prayers in general, today I wanted to. Um, I was so nervous, and I don't know why. Well, probably because I was put on the spot, but I said my first grace like ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, that that was yeah,
that's fantastic.
yeah. I
So you prayed before the meal at your Nana's house.
we went out for dinner. Yeah, but
Oh,
yeah,
you went out. Okay,
yep,
okay,
yep,
okay.
yep. And I looked over at Nana. I'm like, I was so nervous. I've never done that before. And she's like, "What? You're a natural. That was so good." And I'm like, I don't think there's any way to be good at it. It's just be honest within it.
Well, that's the whole key.
Yep. So,
You just unlocked the whole key to prayer.
yep.
It's literally just be the raw version of you that you are. That's it. That's all that God ever asks for.
Hmm. Yeah.
I've been so mad at God, like literally cussing God out. I've been there, and I feel like those times are the times I feel the closest to him
Mm-hmm.
because I'm being so open and honest. Like, I really don't understand what you're doing here. Why is this the way it is? I'm so frustrated with you right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting me through this situation that I just don't understand. And then, 20 days later, that situation is like, oh, well, that was because of this.
Mm-hmm.
So easy to see in hindsight. But in the moment, it's just like the most frustrating thing that's ever happened in the world. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, when I say the closest I've ever felt to God is when I was really pouring my heart out to Him.
Yeah. And that's honestly in the on the opposite side. I can't speak for myself, but what it seems is when you go to church and everybody is in a positive mood. That's an amazing thing. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's probably when most people take God for granted, just from a POV, because you think everything's fine, you think everything's going smoothly, you're still praying, you're still doing your daily um, uh, routines. There we go. You're still doing your daily routines, but it doesn't feel as known, or at least it doesn't seem like people feel his presence is as known until something bad happens and they're
Well, the bone I have to pick with the whole thing with Sunday is everybody's putting on their Sunday best. Like
correct.
that's not what God wants.
Mm-hmm.
God doesn't want you to look a certain way just when you're at church, because like that's not real.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that's like the Instagram version of you that you want to actually post on social media. That's all that is. But
Mm-hmm.
God sees the real you that's actually struggling. God sees the real you that goes home and feels like they're not seen by anybody when they're out in public or is too afraid to even have a conversation with somebody because they're so introverted or that's really struggling financially but just doesn't have the ability to ask because they just don't know who to ask,
Yeah.
whatever. All of those people, they're in the best place to be open and real. The church is the best place to be open and real, but I think a lot of the big problems are there's too many fake Christians
Mm-hmm.
that aren't really about it, and they've been burned by people like that before. Like that actually, I wanted to say this before. That's actually one of the things I really wanted to say
Mm-hmm.
is I really do feel like Christianity has a brand problem, and I'm here to like help fix that
Mm-hmm.
because I just don't think most people really understand what Jesus really looked like because they see the judgmental side of things and the condemnation. And not that it all doesn't have a place somewhere, but that's not the focus. You got to look at what Jesus did. Jesus was hanging out with the people that were outcasts.
Mm-hmm.
He was going along with those people and washing their feet and like really being with them and loving people in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Jesus actually did. If our model is to be like Jesus, why are we only talking about sin?
Yeah.
Like I literally can't even think of a time that Jesus spoke about sin other than when he met with the woman that just got caught in adultery and said, "All right, whoever has no sin, cast the first stone." Of course, everybody's like, "Well, I mean, I've definitely sinned before," so they all throw their stones in. But by the end of it, everybody's gone. All that he says to her after that is, "Go ahead and sin no more." And I don't think that was really a command to never sin again. I think that was a command to just don't get stuck in the same thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
get over this thing that you've just gotten over. You've been spared. You've had grace and mercy. Now that you've had grace and mercy for this thing, just don't do that anymore. Go to the next thing and start working on that.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. And I know from my grandmother's perspective, the reason why she doesn't go to church anymore is because of that. The judgment, the the pain she felt when her husband died back in '83. It was more along the lines of um, she felt judgment in the aspect of she didn't know if she belonged there. There were people that were talking about her behind her back because of
Yep.
her husband's passing, and just a whole lot of stuff. And I know when my great grandfather was still alive, oh man, I wish he was still alive. You would love to meet him. Um, but I know when he was still alive, like he still went to church every Sunday. I think he went to Monday service as well because it was a Catholic church.
Okay. Yeah.
So like he had Sunday and Monday. And he was like every day up and down, like, praying on his knees, standing back up. And this guy was like, he was 83 when he passed, but he was like
Okay.
79, 80 and just still going at it. You know what I mean? So, like he was really good within his faith. He was also a war veteran, and very, he was a very humble person with who he was. Like he never really boasted much. He just loved working on cars, and he loved going
That's
to
cool.
church. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So when you talk about how your Nana felt when everything went down, I or your Gram, excuse me.
Graham,
I'm
yep.
saying the wrong one. I knew what I meant in my head, but I said it backwards.
No,
But
you're good.
anyway,
You're good.
when you say your Gram doesn't go to church anymore, and the reason why, anybody that goes to Grace Church Melbourne is going to understand where I got this from, but that's okay. So everybody intrinsically wants to feel known, they want to feel loved, and they want to feel challenged. Those are three things that are needs in a relationship that you need.
Mhm.
So you have to feel like you're known and seen and like have a place. You have to feel like you're loved and that people has your back. And you have to feel like you have purpose. That's where the challenge piece comes in.
Mhm.
And it kind of sounds like none of those things were really happening at your Graham's church. None of them.
No.
She didn't feel loved. She didn't feel known. And she didn't feel like she had any purpose there. So
Mhm.
like of course she would walk away. Like
Yep.
that only makes sense. The only thing that's a bummer is that there's not somebody from a different church that was there to give her a hug and be like, "Look, you might not need to go there anymore. Come hang out with us." Cuz I
Mhm.
really do feel like the community aspect of church is the most valuable piece.
Yep.
I'm not saying it has to be a specific building. I'm not saying it has to be a specific denomination. Absolutely not. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is that the community piece, however it looks, is going to be one of the most important things.
Yeah. No, I agree, and that's something I'm struggling with right now over in Northeast PA is the
Right.
church that we're actively going to. And honestly, most of the churches, I just don't. The community is there, but it's not. Like at least for me, and
I understand.
that's not because of people not liking me or whatever. That's not it. It's just
No, no,
I
no.
don't feel at one, or I don't feel.
Evaluate what I just said to you about being known, being loved, and being challenged, and
Yeah.
figure out where that is. And we don't have to like name drop any churches or anything like
Oh,
that,
no, no,
but
no.
figure out where the disconnect is in your own mind.
Oh
And I'm
yeah.
telling you, you're gonna know right away when you start actually thinking about it.
Yeah, I no, I know right away. I literally I don't feel challenged there. I feel known. People obviously like, we're always talking, we're always meeting people, but
Sure.
my biggest thing is I don't feel challenged, and that's me as a person. That's something I need. I need to be challenged.
Everybody needs that. Everybody needs that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm just saying, in my context, that's like my biggest requirement with it. Like, you know how I am. I'm always trying
I
a new
do.
thing. I'm always challenging
Yep.
myself to do certain things, and that's if I don't feel that, I try to make it be. I try to make it a thing. So, within church,
Yeah.
I'm not going to name drop the church that we actively go to currently, but it was funny because Craig said about Grace Melbourne. The church that I want to go to whenever we move is called Grace Life in Pittsburgh. So,
Yep. Yeah. It's really weird how things come together cohesively sometimes.
yeah, it's something. So, I I'm actively working on getting from here where I'm at currently to get to, I guess technically getting from there where I live to here where I'm at. Um,
Yep.
so trying to navigate that is one of the things that we're working on actively. So I actually
Yep.
watched some of their services online after post date of their service.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
Hey, man, there's there's something still cool about seeing it, even if it isn't real time, and even if you aren't there directly. There's still something cool about watching church.
mhm.
Like, especially when you're going to a church that like they're really about it. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
and because you've been at our church, and I haven't been to the Grace Church in Pittsburgh, but I'm sure at some point we'll get up there. But
Yeah.
you know when you walk in, because
Mhm.
the air feels different. Like the people that are in there feel different. Like
Mhm.
everything is like, like I definitely feel like God is doing something here.
Mhm.
Like I could tell the difference. I can feel the weight of the room just shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
there's just something really cool about that.
so when I was at Grace Life in Pittsburgh, speaking of this, the pastor, what was his name? I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but that's for another day. Um,
Irrelevant. It's fine
yeah,
for now.
it's irrelevant. So it's funny that you're mentioning about like air and you're mentioning about like the feel and all this other stuff. Literally, I know we talked and it was like how much more of a church would be calling for you besides the only time you're out there is when they have a car show going on, the church is having a big event, and like just literally everything that I'm into, just right there.
Yep.
Um,
Literally everything that you're into, you just met your family that you didn't even know you had.
yep,
Like all this stuff just happened all at once. And oh, hey, just by the way, we're going to go to church and it's all about cars. And his message was even about cars.
literally, yeah,
Like,
literally. Literally one thing he said about the whole entire atmosphere is like, it's actually very similar to what you were saying, but he just framed it in the aspect of cars. He's like, you know how when you go to a racetrack and like everybody is everybody's so involved with the cars. Everybody's looking at the cars. Everybody
yep.
loves the smell of gasoline or burnt rubber, and
Yeah, yeah.
the air just feels different because you feel the rumble of motors. You hear and feel everything going on. He's like, that's the way church should feel like. He's like, you need to retune. His whole entire message was about retuning your heart and retuning your
Yep.
brain
Love it.
to get closer to God and figure out your challenges to grow as a better person and retuning, he brought up retuning a lot.
Yep.
So it
Right. And that even goes with what I was just saying, because he was talking about challenging you to retune your mind
mm,
for that. Like it's an intrinsic thing. You need to be known, you need to be loved, you need to be challenged. I'm telling you, that's a super important piece.
yeah, no, for sure. And one thing I'm going to add real quick, just because I find it funny, because we're car people, you'll completely understand.
Okay.
He was telling me about retuning his car, and he had a OBD2 flasher and a 1965 Corvette. So
Interesting.
obvious, you get what I'm going at there.
Yeah.
It was for the message, not for the actual practice of retuning a car. So
Yeah, that would have definitely thrown me off a little bit. Like, hey,
it was there, but I'm like,
yeah,
I'm listening to the
it's
message.
worth it's worth just listening.
Yeah, it's just for the message, just not for anything
Yeah.
more. Um, but yeah, no, for sure. Like it was one of those surreal moments where it's like, oh wow, this is something. And let me tell you something I actually never told. I don't think I've told Emily, and I don't think I've told anybody else. It was more along the lines of me just being honest with myself and like trying to navigate. I think I briefly may have glanced over it a little bit here or there, but like when I was at your church, when they had that, what's the pastor's name?
Aaron and Nicole.
I think it was Aaron that was preaching that day.
Yeah, probably. He preaches the most,
No,
but
no,
yeah.
it was Nicole. It was Nicole.
Was it Nicole?
It was
Okay.
Nicole. Yeah, yeah, sorry. I thought Aaron was a female's name, so
Ah, yes. It was Pastor Nicole then.
yep.
Yep.
So when she was preaching, like, and she had everybody come up to the stage, it was like such a I almost cried next to you guys, and like I wanted to, but like my brain was telling me just not my brain, but like probably my brain, I guess is probably the best way to put it. It was just fighting back the tears. Because like when everybody was going up to stage and surrendering themselves and like all this other stuff, it was like powerful. You know what I mean?
Right. You literally feel the Holy Spirit just like hover.
Yep.
It's the craziest thing. I've never cried as many times as I did in my life as I did in the front of that church.
I
I'm gonna
almost
end
did.
up I'm gonna end up crying tomorrow before I get on stage to speak because I'm speaking at youth tomorrow night, and I guarantee when we do worship before I go on, I'm gonna get all choked up and have to like kind of pull it together right before I start talking.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like I've learned it's not about how you look. Honestly, it's just literally between me and God. And if I have to cry to feel close to God, okay, that
Mm.
is what it is.
Yeah.
You
No.
know.
Yeah, and that's something that like I started like slowly over time, like realizing, honesty within within yourself, but also within God, and just trying to make the best connection there is. It was literally spit image of what I was talking about with my mom today. You know,
Yeah.
between the biggest thing is lack of communication between yourself and God. So, and I get it. I understand that that's really it in quotations, but it's a bigger thing than just that. You have to actively be there and be conscious to make efforts about it. So,
Yep.
there's caveats to a simple statement. There's more that goes into
Yep.
it. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of reflection we could still keep on doing.
Well, so like what this is what I was going to say because I heard this on a different podcast that I listened to, and they said basically what we're doing and what they're doing is the same thing, which is just externally processing for the whole world to see.
Hmm?
That's literally all this is. We're just externally processing exactly what's going on in our minds and just having a conversation about it that happens to be on the internet.
Yeah, that's what it all comes down
This is
to.
what it is.
Yep.
That is what it is. But yeah, I love that understanding of what this is because I mean, you and I are really just talking the way we talk. Like
Literally,
this
that's
is
it.
no different. This is no different than a phone call right now. It's really not.
It
The only
really,
thing that's
yeah,
different is that there's a camera involved and I got lights in front of me.
yeah.
That's about the only thing that's different.
And I'm in my nana's basement.
Right? Right.
So, yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like, it for the people out there who like actively think we're just joking about this is our normal conversation. No, this is literally our conversations all the time. It
Yep.
literally the only difference, like you said, is the cameras and the lights. The only difference while we're at work is that he's on a car lot and I am either in my office or on a job site. That's
Right.
literally it.
There's
So
other noises going on. I mean, we've mitigated the noise pretty good with this. So
yeah, I'd hope so. I'm pretty sure we have everything set down. So yeah, so I'm
yeah,
excited. I'm honestly super excited to see like where this
I'm
will.
pumped to see where this is going to go.
Yeah, we have a lot of topics, and I know we we have a lot of input on those topics. So
Yep.
I think we're more than good. And what are you guys thinking of, future ideas? What are you guys thinking for future plans? Like, what do you guys want us to see? What do you guys want to see us do? What is something that would not tickle your fancy, but tickle your fancy in the regard of what we're talking about?
Yeah.
So,
Or like something that's a life application,
mm,
you know, because that's my whole biggest thing is how to apply what the words say in the Bible to actual real life. Because
mm,
like it's not always easy to
mm.
to understand.
Yeah, I mean,
So.
we can the what do some people say? The world's your oyster, something like that.
Hmm.
I, I never understood why, because I don't like oysters.
I don't know what that means exactly. I would have to look that up because it never made any sense to me either.
Yeah. So like there are so many different directions we could go within these conversations, but it's always going to be faith-based and building with God in general. Um,
Yep.
so it's always going to have that natural tone to it, but within daily events and within general happenings of the world, we're more than able to reflect it back to God and Craig, with Craig's expertise is probably the best way to put it, or at least knowledge within it, it's going to be a lot more, as Craig likes to say, fruitful or stuff with trees and vegetation. Um,
That means you're listening. I love it.
yeah, it seems like I'm not listening sometimes, but I promise you I am.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
sometimes it just takes me a lot longer to process these things. Um,
It's all good. I understand.
yeah, but we're gonna be able to have those open dialogues and not hold back. So, yeah, yeah, fun. And I'm excited. The other thing I'm really excited for is when we're in person doing this.
Oh, it's going to be so much more fun.
Uh,
I just love the fact that we can do this 1,500 miles away,
yeah,
but the
1,500
fact
miles
that
away, and what's the elevation change? I'm like in the
you're so much higher than I am because I'm basically level with the sea.
yeah,
So
yeah. I think probably a few hundred feet, maybe 700
it's
feet.
probably like it's probably like 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Pittsburgh's super high, but
No, it's not super high. So, but yeah, so no, let's what we got next Tuesday coming up. Yeah.
yeah.
So we need to get some ideas together as to topics.
I mean, I've already got like 20,
Oh,
so
for sure. Yeah. And I'm just talking about between you and I, put it on paper just so we have a relative topic and we can
right
bounce
on.
back and forth. So, all right.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Well then, I guess let's end it with a prayer if you wanna.
I was wondering if you were gonna just take it. I thought for a second you were gonna do it. It's
No,
okay.
no,
I can
no,
I can
no,
definitely I can definitely end this in prayer. That's not a problem.
no.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for today. Thank you for the ability to just have a conversation. Thank you for the ability to put down on camera things that I've talked about to numerous people behind closed doors, and just give a good understanding of who you are and how much you love each and every one of these people. Lord, I just pray that you speak through Austin and I, that you allow the message that we speak to be fruitful, to allow it to just go through and penetrate everyone that is able to hear this message. We just thank you for everything you're doing for our lives, Lord Jesus, and it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.